Alrighty, let's go ahead and recap today. So going into the prep, we had trade plan. Okay, here's my first big mistake. There was obviously that EU rate cut decision. I didn't have that in here. I should have had that in there. It wasn't on the economic calendar that I check. So that was, sorry about that if any of you saw that and took my word for it. I got stopped out on trade because of that, so that sucks. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna work on that later. Crude is at a key inflection. This would suggest a bearish bias back into the lows. However, I will treat it. However, here is how I will. Oh, okay. So bullish reference, I was going to be bullish so long as we were holding or rotational above here. If we got above this reference, monthly prior value area low, which isn't on here, I was going to be bullish, and then below 47.20, below the bear or bull zone, I'd be bearish. Okay. And then for S&P, well, let's just stick to crude first. So crude, I also came in here in the morning and I modified it. I didn't stress the bearishness of this reference at 48.40. And we can't really flip to bull until then. So what I did in my prep is we put in this extra bearish reference that was just, let's see, 48. Yeah, so it wasn't on there at first, but then I had to throw it in there as a bearish reference because of the way that things were stacked up. And then I actually changed this one down here to neutral because of the bearishness of that reference. So I put it here, and then I also put it into the main Discord just to make sure everyone was aware that I modified the prep. And we had, obviously, it paid off as far as prep goes. Not how I executed it. Execution on my end was quite poor today, but that's not the purpose of this video. So looking at this, we opened, kind of compressed into this low here, and then there was the announcement. So announcement came out right up into this 48.40 zone, the bear zone we had identified, and then sold off from here. Not a whole lot of trade opportunity in this entire sequence. There was not a lot of pullback, not a lot of clear acceptance. It was better, I thought, to wait for that to flatten out. From here, there was actually a bottom, and then there was a double bottom, and that double bottom had a bearish or a bullish divergence on the order flow. So there was an opportunity to, if you were going to take a more advanced trade like that, to get involved. However, given the bearish thesis, these right here were the A plus trades of the day. Was actually taking these on. As you can see, it's compressing right into that DVAH, and right off that, we already had the acceptance picture, especially on the second one, off this bearish reference, and that's where you want to be really pushing that trade. Obviously, you would have had a great scale here, core position probably down to here, and then manage it after that. We had a little bit of a confusion, maybe scalps or initial entries where you have your core position stopped out, but you get your scale. We had a few of those here, and then this is kind of a much more clean. You pull out, you retest that value area low at the 1.5, take that short down, and then it ramped up. People, probably this is just all shorts covering into the close. So that is that as far as crude oil went. S&P, I said that there was a case to be made for the bulls. However, if it holds below the green LIS, it's an additional hurdle. Oh, 31.10. Gotcha. Medium-term rhythm is that we do need to pull back to see what the bears have. So I was definitely open to this bearish idea. And yeah, it's just some extra commentary. So looking at the prep here and what actually went down, this I'll change back to green, but we broke below it, so I made it a bear reference, but it was green. So opening, we have in this rotational environment, we pushed down this. There was opportunity for a scalp, type thing right there. Obviously, we have the event happen. Event happens. You could have easily been getting kind of trapped in a long in one of these areas with the acceptance picture above. However, given the flatness of DVA, it would have been. I mean, you're compromising quite a bit taking a trade like that. So consider that. And same type of situation where you had that pull down and the acceptance picture fail back in, and these were the bread and butter of today. Right off that DVAH, whacking those down, and that came all the way down to our bullish line in the sand. We found some buyers here for a second, kind of tangled in these stacked references. I came up to VWAP. One interesting thing to note is that when you have one of these rips where it pushes down past your second sigma and it starts to pull back, it typically is going to be in the form of a more complex pullback. Like you're not expecting this thing to pull down, push up, and then keep going down. It's going to need to build a little bit more energy, which is what this extra leg is to VWAP, to actually build that sustainable energy. So that's something you want to watch out for when you have a flat DVA developed into the day and you're looking for an imbalance plays. You need to give it a little bit more energy. Typically, if this is the rhythm of the market, right? If that's the rhythm, up leg, down. Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but you can see it. Whoa, up, down, up, down. That was half a rotation, so it wasn't really. Had to complete that rotation before it was gonna find those sellers. Great place to get short down there. And I'm not saying that randomly, well, I'd say it's still somewhat compromised. According to the prep, we're still above the bullish line in the sand, so really it's not. Just from a chart or a price action perspective and a DVA perspective it is. So I'll take that back. So we came down here, fast trend imbalance, and boom, we pegged that low right there, almost to the tick. So that second right here, perfect place to get long. Believe there was an order flow queue there as well. Can't remember though. And then it started to have this complex kind of pullback situation into the close here. I don't know if there was a whole lot of tradable opportunity there because you might have taken a whack at the first short and then had your core stopped out, gotten a scale, whatever it was. But you could tell it was kind of compressing. It's one of those things where once the market facilitates trade, reaches its destination, it's typically going to start doing this. So this was your destination reached. This was the chop that followed suit afterwards. And now we're likely to maintain balance in this area between the line in the sand here and this bullish reference until one of them gives way. If we get back above this, I'd be looking for this guy. And if we hold below this, let's see, what is a good reference here? Change chart books. Oh, and the chart disappeared. Lovely. This would be kind of your first station at 35, and if we hold below 35, then 28.78, yeah. And that's about it for today. So I thought it was, given the nature of what's going on with the market, I thought it still had very, very solid, again, these are solid trade opportunities where you have very little compromised. It was fast, it did happen fast, and you had to just be able to sit there, and this is what I had to work on today because I didn't do it. Trade what is, because I'm sitting here watching these, waiting for one of these to blow through, thinking, oh, they're just trying to trap people in and pull one of these, instead of just committing to what process and prep is telling me. So anyways, good prep, poor execution. We'll keep working on that, but see you guys tomorrow.